Hey, what's up? Let's go ahead and plant the tree in this diorama. This is my first serious attempt at making a tree for a diorama, so I'm really curious to see how it turns out. I picked the building materials to make it both robust and realistic. The wire will ensure it doesn't break easily, the seafoam will provide the tiny branches, and the crushed foam will serve as moss. I'll start with a basic structure made out of wire. The great thing about the wire is that you can shape the trunk and the crown any way you want. Plus, I can bend it over and over again until I'm happy with the result. I cut several pieces, put them together and tie them up with another piece of wire. That gives me the thickest part, the trunk. From there, I want to build a large crown. The wires are easy to split into smaller groups, which become the main branches. From each group, I take one wire and wrap it around the others to hold them in place. Then I keep splitting and splitting until I end up with single wires for the smallest branches. Finally, I trim off any parts that are too long and shape the tree. Mine has to fit a specific shape so it can fit into the display case. Perfect, now I need to get rid of this unnatural structure. Air dry clay works great to fill in the deeper gaps. I just slap it on and I'll deal with the texture in the next step. For the thinner branches, diluted Tamiya putty does the trick. Now about the bark texture. I want it rough and grainy. To achieve that, I mix baking soda into the putty. By the way, for thinning, I used some old airbrush cleaner. Then I apply this mix very roughly all over the tree. A few hours later, it's ready for texturing. This putty dries brittle and chalky, which is actually perfect because with the hobby knife I can easily carve in the bark texture I want. For the smaller branches, razor saw works perfectly. And wherever I went a bit overboard, it's a quick fix by applying another layer of putty. Alright, next up is the crown. I pick out some nice looking branches and glue them onto the tray. A big help here is CA activator. I spray it on the trunk, then press the branch into place. The bond is instant, no waiting around. I also added a bit more CA glue for extra strength. Finally, Tamiya putty blends the branches into the structure and gives them a bit more thickness. Let's move on to painting. First comes a dark primer. This coat evens out the whole surface. I sprayed everywhere to make sure no grey or white spots show through. From the top side, I add lighter tones. This layer isn't solid, I want the darker primer to pick through. And you can clearly see the effect, lighter on top where the light hits, darker underneath. Now it's time for acrylics. Tree bark in nature comes in all sorts of shades, so pretty much any brown tones will work just fine. I'm focusing on the lighter shades for now because later I'll add a dark wash and I'm hoping it will create an interesting contrast. The base is already there, so I don't need to fuss too much. I apply them thinned down, layering one over another so they blend nicely. Again, I'm keeping in mind how the light falls. Darker tones go into the corners. It's nothing complicated, you can keep playing with it until you are happy. Next layer a dark wash using oil paints. Now the texture I created earlier really pops. I thin the oils a lot so they flow nicely into the grooves. The darker shade goes into the deepest crevices and in places where the water streaks would naturally form. I go back to the acrylics for a bit. Using a lighter shade, I lift out the raised areas on the bark. This helps bring out the small details that would otherwise get lost. The tree is still bare, so it's time to bring it to life with some leaves. The micro leaves I have are all just one shade, which would look too flat, so I'm going to paint them. A tint oil paint, a small container, and one day of drying gave me two different shades to use. I'll attach the leaves to the tree using PVA glue. But first, I need to break the surface tension. This is where isopropyl alcohol comes in. Without it, the glue would bed up into little drops. With the isopropyl alcohol, the glue spreads more evenly. So the process is apply the isopropyl alcohol, then PVA glue, and finally sprinkle the branches with leaves. In the second layer, I add the lighter leaves, mainly on the top where the freshest, most vibrant growth would naturally appear. I did my best, but a few leaves still ended up where they shouldn't be. Those have to go. After all that PVA glue work, the bark has a satin finish, but I want a matte look. To add more variety, I'll include some moss, especially in the damp areas. The foam I'm using already has a light green shade, which helps. I apply dark green oil paints, letting them soak deep into the foam. This creates a nice effect. The center of the moss stays a rich green while it gradually lightens toward the edges. Finally, let's plant the tree. I apply PVA glue into the prepared hole and then set the tree in place. And what about the roots? There's room for them now too. I'm using a 2-component putty here. Everything around is already painted, so I don't want to mess anything up. I apply it in small sections and shape the bark texture. I'll try to match the colors with the rest of the tree. And that brings us to the end of the video. Let me know what do you think in the comments. Next time I make a tree, I'll go with less curved branches. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Thanks to everyone who watched all the way through. Extra thanks go especially to my Patreon supporters. You make this creation possible. If anyone wants to support me, check it out. You'll find a ton of extra content there. In the next video, I'll be working on palm trees, so this one doesn't get lonely. See you then.